Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Puck in Deep with your very special host, Mr. Pearlo Wisdom. How you doing, Pearlo?
Good, buddy. Doing really well.
Yeah, man. How's things going over there with you and the Ice guys?
Oh, excellent.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
on tomorrow. Yeah, I'm on tomorrow. That's going to be a lot of fun, as always is. I'm getting
Awesome.
busier and busier all the time, but it's a fun busy and
That's right.
enjoying doing as many podcasts as I can.
Exactly. Speaking of which, we brought in another very special guest host here with us today. Our special guest, Mr. Lyle Richardson from SpectresHockey.net. How you doing, Lyle?
I'm doing fine, guys. Thanks for having me back on.
Oh man, come on now. You're unfortunately you're not going to be able to get rid of us now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
The bad penny, keep coming back.
Right, right, okay. But we just keep cleaning off that penny and putting it back in
Oh,
our
there we
shoe and
go.
we're all good, right? So there you
No,
go.
no, that's all good. It's all good. That's
Awesome.
fine. That's
So
fine.
thank you, Lyle, for hopping on here,
Oh
man.
no problem. I mean, hey, it's special time of the year. So yeah, as I told you, my dance card's full, but I was able to fit you guys in. So
Oh, see, that's why we love you, man. That's why we love you. So thank you very much for hopping on here. Thank you very much for tuning
always a
in and
pleasure.
joining us. Yep, thank you. Thank you out there for tuning in and joining us. We really appreciate that. Smash that like and subscribe button, man, for sure, so you get notified when we do the next show. On this episode of Puck and Deep, we're going to be talking about the trade deadline because it is right around the corner. And man, there's going to probably be some things that happen, right? I mean, like it's not going to be okay, I got to take my day off of work so I can sit in front of the screen all day kind of a day, right? But we're going to have some things happen, I think, at least, right, Lyle? Yeah.
Beforehand, well, probably we already saw one guy move, not a
Yeah.
significant name, but Connor Murphy going from Chicago to Edmonton. I mean, that
True.
happened yesterday. That his name had been kicked around quite a bit as a trade candidate, and he had
Right.
been linked to the Oilers, so not a big surprise that happened. That's the first, more to come, but see, every year you don't know what you're going to get. Each year is different. Each year is unique when it comes into the trade deadline. This year, there's a lot of names floating around, but there's very few sellers. Yeah, you can have a lot of names kicking around, but there's not a lot of sellers. A whole lot of buyers. And what we could see a situation where a lot of these names, a lot of these teams that are selling are going to try and hang on to these guys and hope somebody meets their price, where the buyers are going to sit there and try and wait them out and hope that the prices will drop on deadline day, that they'll panic and they'll drop the prices. The problem with that, though, I will say, is that some of these big names that are floating around out there, they are not pending unrestricted free agents. Some of these guys have term on their contracts. Some of them
Yeah.
have several years left on their contracts.
Yeah.
So their teams, they can be quite content to go, oh, you're not going to meet my price today? Oh, that's fine. We'll revisit this in June. We'll do this
Yeah.
in the summer around the draft. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see if some of these guys whose names have been floating around, whether they actually do move or not. But there'll be activity. There'll be some names go. There might even be a holy crap moment. You never, especially if the Vegas Golden Knights get involved. Because we
Maybe,
know how
yeah.
they love to swoop in at the last minute and
Right.
grab a guy nobody expected to get traded. So we'll
Okay.
see what happens.
So, Perlo, what's what's the line on the day being a super busy day? I mean,
Well, and this is one of the times when I think it's possible the actual trade deadline is more because in my mind, I thought if after the Olympic break, if things aren't moving by then, it's probably going to go to the end, and it's probably not going to be that great of a trade deadline day as far as what other people think are great in smaller
yeah.
trades, maybe a lot of them. And the main reason for that is, as Lyle's point, saying that we'll wait around till the summer. This summer, the cap goes up enormously. So
Yep.
a lot of these teams that are like, you hear the Thomases and you hear these sexy names out there, they are putting a high price right now because they say if you don't want to do it, people are going to have more cap space and you're going to be fighting with more people in the summer. So I think we can get this then. So you have to give us that now or you don't get it. And they have less. So they got to be really interested. Like they got to be in win now mode because they themselves can say, well, give it a shot in the summer and we'll fight with everybody and see what we can do. Or they have to be in win now mode. Here's the problem. How many teams this for the first time in a while, how many contenders do we really have? You got Tampa.
4.
Yeah, 4 maybe.
Yeah.
That's it. Colorado, Tampa,
Dallas. Carolina.
Dallas maybe. Yeah, Dallas. Minnesota could make a push. So maybe there's more than 4. Minnesota, they've set themselves up all right.
Carolina.
They could be the one team that would go.
I was going to say I'm liking Carolina too.
But
they could be one of the. And I was just going to go Carolina, Tampa Bay in the East. I don't think there's anybody else in the East. Carolina, Tampa Bay are the only two that I could see that really could do. I mean, you could see something. Buffalo is having a really good stretch here, but they've never been to a play. You know, we've seen it how many times?
Same with Detroit too. Same with Detroit.
Right. You know, a young team's first time in the playoffs, how many times do they go on a run? Not very often. All these teams like Tampa Bay, Colorado, they had to go 2-3 times to the playoffs to learn how to play in the playoffs. Montreal went once last year.
Florida, the same thing. You know, they're going to probably miss out this year, but they had to do the same thing too.
Florida had to do this. Florida did it for a long time.
That's what I mean, you know.
Yeah. So it's and so a lot of these, the reason why I bring this up for trade talk is I think there's a lot of teams out here that's saying, are we really going to be a contender if we make this move? You know, I think Thomas could make sense for a team like Boston, but is the upper brass looking down going, are we really a contender with Thomas? So do we really want to make this kind of a deal now when we might be able to get him in the summer? And I think that's going to be the issues here. And the cap is tight right now because it hasn't gone up yet. So you got to make moves that involve players generally. And if you're making a push, that's not what you want to do. You don't want to involve players back. You want to have picks and prospects, keep your lineup together and add the guy. So I thought before, like when the Olympic breaks was happening, I was hearing a lot of stuff and I thought, okay, there'll be moves. And I didn't really think about this at that time. But the more I thought about it, the more I was like, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to see that. Maybe one big swing. I think like Trocheck to the Rangers or something like that. Because the Rangers are
Trocheck to the Hurricanes or something. Trocheck
because he is with the
Rangers. With the Hurricanes.
I think Trocheck said he wants to go to the Hurricanes, and he's probably been talking to his buddy there.
Well, he said no teams out west.
Well, no West Coast teams.
No West Coast teams.
Right.
So
he would. There are some Western teams as well that he probably wouldn't want to go to, like Utah, say. But Minnesota, though,
it's right there.
Not far west. It's west, but not west. Right?
Isn't he from Michigan?
It's not that far past the Mississippi.
He's from the Michigan area. I think he ultimately would like Detroit, but I think he's from Michigan.
No, Pittsburgh. He's from Pittsburgh.
Is he from Pittsburgh?
Yeah, Trocheck is from Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But still, yeah. I mean, Detroit. I mean, he wants to stay as close to the East Coast as possible. So because for family reasons. So Detroit's a possibility. Carolina, certainly. He played for the Hurricanes before, so I don't think he'd be averse to going back there. Maybe Tampa, but Tampa's pretty well set, I think, at center. I mean, with Braden Point and Anthony Cirelli, I don't think there's any more room there. If you bring Trocheck there, and Florida, not this year.
Yeah,
not this year.
Yeah,
no.
It was too much of a. It was
too
much
many
of
injuries.
A hill.
Way too many injuries. Yeah.
Too much of a hill to climb for them. Even when Kachuk came back, it was still too much of a hill to climb.
They didn't have Barkov and that. And other guys got. I mean, half of their core at one point, half their key guys
pretty much
sidelined. I mean,
The reason why I brought up the Rangers is because the Rangers are a team that they're not wanting to rebuild. They're never going to rebuild for like 10 years, or at least the thought process isn't they're going to. They want picks right away in this
Yeah.
draft, and then they're going to start adding like super fast. That's their MO. That's what they've always done. So that team might be more driven to trade. They already did. They already made a trade, but the Panarin trade, they might be more driven because they don't want to wait till next year.
No.
But they could think we'll do this at the draft. Like they could have a guy that says, we're doing this. If you tell me you're going to do this before the draft, if you back out of this, though, I'll never make a deal with you again. But if you tell me you're going to do it before the draft, we'll do this. They'll have a deal set up before the draft, and then I'll call Carolina and say, no, we're not doing it because it's better than this. So you're going to have to do better than that for me to do it there.
Well, here's one thing that's interesting though too, Perlo. Talking about the Rangers and yeah, Trocheck. That's all the talk right now is Trocheck. Keep an eye on Adam Fox. Adam Fox is not a happy camper right now. This has not been a good season for him at all. He also there seems to be tension between him and Mike Sullivan because his performance was down. He didn't get picked for Team USA this year when he was on Team USA at the Four Nations last year.
Right.
That really stung. And now the Rangers midseason management says, right, we're blowing it up. It's the letter version 2, and we're going to blow it up. We're going to do a quick turnaround. And he's not sounding totally committed to this. Now, the word is that there's been a lot of talk between him and Drury, and he wants to wait until the summer to kind of get an idea of what the game plan is to get themselves out of this mess they're in right now because they're the worst team in the Eastern Conference right now. And that's not where he or a lot of the guys saw themselves coming into this season. They thought last year was just going to be an aberration and things were going to turn around this year, and they didn't. Yeah. So keep an eye on Adam Fox. He won't get moved at the trade deadline. That's not going to happen. But keep an eye on him in the offseason because if he's looking at this and he's not a happy camper, that could be a guy who moves.
Okay.
That could be your big move of the summer.
Let me throw some other I just want to throw some other ideas here that I was kind of contemplating and thinking about too. Do you think that there's going to be teams like Detroit, teams like some of these teams that are in contention, Colorado? I mean, do you think there's going to be any of these teams are going to try to make any moves at the? I mean, you guys have basically just confirmed that this trade deadline is pretty much going to be yeah, you're going to see some guys move on paper. You're going to see some depth moves. They're going to end up being AHL guys. You might see one or two big names out there. Well, if Trocheck is the one big name, what would be the other big name out there?
Well,
that
Robert Thomas for one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Robert Thomas.
Yeah,
okay,
for sure. By the way, the report today, the Buffalo Sabres are apparently offering multiple first-round picks for him. So hang on, Harvey, because the Blues want for Thomas, the asking price is they want 3 assets that are at least either were top 15 draft picks, like we're talking an active players or prospects who were chosen in the top 15, or or a first round pick that's going to be in the top 15, i.e., if you're sitting there with a pick that's going to be in the top 10 in this year's draft, gimme, that's going to be part of it. And apparently the Sabres are offering up multiple first round picks. Don't know how many. That could be 2, that could be 3. There's a limit. You can only do so many. But they've got a lot of stuff that they could offer up. And speaking of Thomas, I'm just going to kind of ramble here really quickly about this. Is just what's come down the pipe today. Supposedly, the Montreal Canadiens are interested, and that has everybody in Habs land going, would you be comfortable with them giving up Michael Hage as part of the deal? Michael Hage is their top prospect. He's a center. He's projected when he comes in, he'll likely take over the second line center role when he full-time ready to do it. Right now, Oliver Kapanen fills that role. But it's believed that the Canadiens looked into it, but part of the asking price is Michael Hage. And so that has some people in Montreal, some Canadiens fans losing their minds and going, "Oh my God, yes, let's do this now. We could get Robert Thomas. That could make us a cup contender because the East is wide open, and we'll be a cup contender right away." And it's just like, no, that's like the little kid who smells the chocolate cake baking and wants to eat it now rather than letting it finish baking. It's like, no, the Canadians are not Stanley Cup contenders yet. It's like, well, your goaltending's not good enough. I'm a Canadians fan, and I know that for a fact. The goaltending's not good enough. Some teams can win the cup with good to average goaltending. Hello, 2010 Chicago Blackhawks, but mostly you need a solid starter. But anyway, and so you kind of got a division right now where some Habs fans are for it, some Habs fans like me are dead set against it. I don't think that's the right move to make right now. It's the wrong time. But
Okay.
regardless, that's one thing that's been out there because the Canadians, of course, are one of these teams that are super deep in picks and prospects. The Utah Mammoth is another team that's believed to be very interested because Bill Armstrong drafted Robert Thomas when he was with the Blues management. Okay.
Okay.
He was part of he was the head of scouting and all that. So he was the guy who made the recommendation to Doug Armstrong draft this guy. Okay.
Well,
So there is
that's a
that
different
connection.
interesting,
And yeah, the Mammoth have lots of draft picks. They got lots of cap room. They got promising young players. I'll tell you, they're not gonna get rid of Logan Cooley or Dylan
No.
Gunther
No.
or Caleb Dayanese. They're not going to be moving those guys.
No.
But that's just some of it. Those are the teams that could meet that steep asking price for Richard Thomas. The question is, are any of them going to do it at this deadline?
Wow. That's pretty steep asking price. You
Yep.
know what I mean? Just to throw some other names in the rink, I've been seeing, just because I'm connected to with the Flyers, that Ristolainen's name is out there potentially, and then Pearlo and I did a great deep dive on Puck and Deep for Travis Konechny potentially getting traded. You know what I mean? He has a no movement clause, but he would have to agree to whom and whatever. But I think that's more of a summer deal too for Konechny if he does move. But Ristolainen might be on the block for the Flyers um, to try to garner some picks.
I've heard on that one. I don't mean to interrupt, but I've heard
No,
on
go.
that one that the Flyers are looking for a deal comparable to what the Bruins got from the Maple Leafs for Brandon Carlo. And if you remember that, that was a prospect who is, Fraser Minton, who is playing very well for the Bruins this year.
Yeah,
First round pick in
first round pick.
2026, and they got
Yep.
themselves a fourth rounder as well. So that's kind of what they're looking for.
That might be a little too steep for Ristolainen, I think.
I agree.
With 2 years
Well,
left.
I don't think so. If you knew he wasn't going to get injured, that's
Yeah.
the only reason.
Well,
He's a very good defenseman. Very good. I would give that up for him if I had a genie in a bottle that would say he's not going to get injured, but that's the problem. It's just
because that's been his issue, availability. He missed a good portion of this year due to injury, and he went over and played in the Olympics. Played really well. Watched him play, and he played really well. But now he had a maintenance day the other day, so he might be a little nicked up, and Danny Briere might have to go to talk and be like, "Hey man, can you cut his minutes back a little, buddy? I'm trying to trade this guy." But
yeah,
I'm just throwing that name out there. If Ristolainen was going to be one of those types of guys, and basically with what you said, Lyle, with the asking price, there's not really going to be too many people out there that's going to be willing to do that because, for one, with based off of what you mentioned, even if Buffalo is willing to give up those first round picks, they're doing so well this year that they're going to be late first round picks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not like they're going to get a top 10 guy. They're going to get a bottom 20 guy. You know what I mean? Right. So
if I'm St. Louis, I'm asking for Osland, first round pick. And I love that Osland kid. And I bet, I mean, I don't know. I think Buffalo might balk at it, And that Rojan kid has been down in the AHL. The guy's got wheels like a son of a gun. It looks like he's going to be a little bit of a late bloomer. He's like maturing, not maturing like physically and stuff, but he's got Kairu type vibes to him.
Oh, yeah,
so,
yeah.
Oslin, that and a first round pick, and who knows, maybe more. And Buffalo, I think, would have to think deep on that because, first of all, Thomas would have had to have okayed to trade, and that adds value to the trade because Buffalo can't get anybody to go there up until now. So
be a hell of a coup if they can do it. Yeah.
Remember when Kekalainen brought in Goudreau? That guy went all over the league saying, "See, everybody wants to see. People want to come to Columbus." He sold it like crazy, and he would sell this like crazy too.
Oh, yeah.
So that would be a big part of that deal. I think at the end of the day, they would do that because they've got prospects coming up. I think they would do that deal. And if I'm St. Louis, I'm not too far away from doing that as well. They've got lots of cap space and stuff. And they could do that this year. Buffalo would be excellent. But his question is he willing to go to Buffalo? Because he's got a no movement clause. But if he's willing to go, he's fantastic. He is such an underrated player. He's a great 3-zone defensive player. He's a shutdown player. They get you a point a game. He's got incredible hands, passing skills. Like him with Tage Thompson. Put Tage on the wing, or oh my gosh, that would be something. So that's a good one. I like that.
I think teams need to hire us.
If you don't mind, I'd like to go back to the Rangers for a bit.
Yeah.
Just to finish off with to kind of like lean into something that Lyle was saying there. Okay, he didn't get picked for the Olympics. Now, Fox didn't get picked for the Olympics.
Right.
The Rangers have a history of pushing guys out.
That's true.
Right? Yeah. Kreider, Goudreau, Trouba. Now, if he didn't get if the ownership, because I think Drury personally, I think Drury's more of a puppet doing what they tell him to do, not the things to do, but what they want to do, than actually like. They tell him to do it, you find a way to do it, and he finds a way to do what they're doing. I don't think his mind is going, oh, I want to do this. He's just getting told what to do, and then that's it. There's somebody up there that says, I think maybe a sponsorship thing or something. I don't know. It could be a lot of things. Like in Toronto, I think that has a lot there too. But so if they don't first of all, Fox decided he was the one that said, I'm going nowhere but New York when he was drafted by Calgary. I'm going nowhere to New York. Carolina gave it a shot, tried to talk him out of it and all that stuff like that. He said, I don't really think you understood what I said. I'm going nowhere but New York. He loves New York. He wants to be. So they are going to have to push this guy out if they are planning to do whatever they're going to do. And not bringing him to Olympics could be something that may kind of send a message like, we're gonna push. It's coming. But it could be that. That's why possibly that could have happened. That kind of politics involved. They've done that kind of stuff. But I'll say this right now. If they're doing that and they think they're doing a retool, you're out of your mind. You are not. There is no retool without Fox.
Yeah.
This is this Fox has been disrespected there. Fox is a way better. They say he's struggling. Have you watched their wingers play in the neutral zone when he's trying to pass? They're like, if you played D before, I played D, and you're coming out of the zone and you look up and there's nobody around.
That's the loneliest feeling in the world.
That's no man's land.
Somebody takes the puck off your stick, and all the public sees is you did what you did. Oh, you could have went in behind the net. Well, how you're just going to float around behind the net all day and then slow down the game? And now we're going to have to play like a 1-3-1 and beat teams 2-1. Is that what you want? Because that's what you'd have to do.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it is not Fox's fault. Anybody in it's like Bouchard in Edmonton is the same thing. He got absolutely horrid how he gets treated there. And this is absolutely horrid. And I thought this is going to be like heart ripping for Fox to make this decision. I would say if you were willing to take a chance and just put one team on your on your resume and go with it like he did, like he must love New York that much, and this must be ripping him apart. And then Kreider gone, all he built up all these friends, and maybe they finally get to move him on. And by the time they do, they probably lessened his value, that they're not going to get as much in return as if they would have. So I mean, that's going to be a horrible rebuild. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I really don't think this is like, I don't know if Chris Drury is whatever. I really don't know if he could come up with something himself. He was a player before. It doesn't mean you're being a good general manager. But I personally think they like Chris Drury because they've got something they want to do, and he's willing to do whatever they say. There. So, and I don't know what that is. Look at when that whole thing happened with Wilson in Washington, when Panarin jumped on his back and that whole thing, and they had nobody there to beat him up. And like, I don't know how long, it wasn't long after, they were trading Buchnevich for Blais, and they were bringing in freaking. Do you think the general manager thought that was a good idea? No way. No. Those were both horrible trades. Just so you can have a fighter. So, like, it sounds like something they are responding to something above, whether it's apparently the owner's not hands-on, but everybody says that. There's something going on. There's something going on. The
Mr.
owner's
Dolan
like
is very
feeling
much
embarrassed because they could have that, and says, you got to do this. Knee-jerk reaction is what I'm thinking.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't know. I think we kind of covered most of the big names out there. I mean, we're not really anticipating this to be that much of a major, you know what I mean, kind of a trade deadline. We're not going to see names like, Matthews is going to be traded. No. We're not going to see that. We're not going to see Connor McDavid getting traded. We're not going to see Nylander getting traded. We're not. I mean,
no.
Right. So,
you think you could see something major going on in Toronto in the offseason?
Oh, trades are going to happen in Toronto, but it's going to mostly be like pending UFAs, like Bobby McMahon, Scott Loughton, who former Flyer, who's second year in a row, and now he looks like he's going to be on the move again. Sometimes you can't come home again, Toronto boy. But they could also move guys with term on their contract. But we're talking secondary players like Oliver Ekman-Larsson. He's been mentioned quite a bit as a possible trade candidate, but he doesn't want to leave. He said that, well, no, I like it here, but he's got a 16-team no trade. So if they get something from a team that's not on his list, they could move him. Heck, the Oilers were even thought to be in on him before they went and got Connor Murphy. But yeah, Toronto's going to shake things up for sure. They have to.
I think in the summer you're going to see something big.
Probably.
Really
it won't be Matthews. It won't be Matthews.
No, I don't
has
think
already
so.
told them he's sticking around. I don't think it's going to be Nylander either. I think you're going to see like they're going to try and move Morgan Riley. I think that's the guy that's the main guy.
I think it's going to be Nylander.
Pardon me?
I think it's going to be Nylander.
That would be interesting if it is.
I'll tell you what, if they don't fire Berube before the end of the year.
Oh, Berube's gone. Yeah.
I don't think so. Watch. It's not.
We'll see. They
like what Berube brings.
I was just going to say. I was just going to say.
They don't like the way the players are responding to what they brought. They brought in Berube to get rid of the country club atmosphere. Now what are you going to do? Bring somebody else in that's going to bring a country club atmosphere?
It's Toronto. It's the Maple Leafs. Right now, all the word coming out of Toronto, I'll tell you right now, is Berube will not be back next season. They'll let him finish the season out, and then they're going to find somebody else because, it was one thing about, bring him in to get rid of the country club atmosphere, which, yes, was the right thing to do, but they had to win, and they're not winning. And Toronto is a unique agony. I don't know if you've ever watched the Steve Dangle podcast.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God! If you want to get an idea of what it's like to be a Leafs fan in perpetual agony, watch this guy. and
Yeah.
his pals, because wow, it is
I'm
something.
from Mississauga. I know what that's all
Then
about.
you know. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, I'll tell you, if he's okay, if he's gone,
Yeah.
I don't know who you're gonna replace him. But I don't know who you're gonna replace him with.
Yeah.
My gut says this time, for one time in Toronto's actual, that I think the sponsors have said, okay, we're out of it now. You got to make this team better. Do it any way you want. We're not going to tell you what to do. As soon as Marner was gone, as soon as that happened, they started realizing that we got to get our hands out of this because we're just messing everything up. And winning is the only thing that really matters. And they can't go back to, I mean, Sheldon Keefe's a horrible coach. He was a horrible coach when he was there. He had a great team. He's just terrible to begin with.
Yeah.
So maybe they try to find some happy medium guy that's somewhere in between there. But I believe the one guy that has absolutely annoyed the crap out of every coach he's ever had is Nylander. And I believe that Berube is telling them, look, I don't care. You fire me, whatever you do, you keep this guy on, and you're never going to have the team that's going to win a cup. Unless you're going to build you have to have money to build guys in there like Kachucks, Tucks. You got to have guys that go there. But what happens when guys go there, like O'Reilly?
Yeah.
O'Reilly leaves
Oh, he
because
wasn't there long. He didn't like it there at all.
well,
No.
he didn't like it. He didn't care about the fans. He said there's a clique there and people I don't want to be associated with. That was basically what he said. And that people is a guy I'm talking about, because Nylander is a floating son of a gun and he doesn't appreciate the guys that do the work for him. He's a
That's
complete
interesting.
floater.
That's interesting though to say, because he gets constantly praised, and I've noticed it too. I think he justified that he brings it in the playoffs. He absolutely brings it in the playoffs. He's been their most reliable scorer in the playoffs. He's been their most clutch scorer in the playoffs for them. He always seems to find the extra gear when the playoffs roll around. And
It's not an extra gear.
Most people, they will tell you that, oh, that's why they ran Marner out of town, because they believe he didn't bring it in the playoffs.
Who did all the work to get Nylander the puck? It wasn't Nylander. Marner did. O'Reilly did. All of these guys busted their ass. You can have a guy like Nylander if that guy appreciates what you're doing. He does not. Those guys, O'Reilly knew it 100. O'Reilly's one of the best three-zone defensive players that ever played the game. He went there and got tired of it. You're going to celebrate this guy? We're doing all the work and it passes to him. Unbelievably offensive player, and you can have a guy like on your team as long as everybody understands what he's about. A really good team that had Nylander on it would say things, would kind of laugh and joke about Nylander. I saw guys frustrated by it, because not just because of Nylander, but because the way he was celebrated. He's heavily sponsored. He has all of this. He's lauded like this great, and that's fine. If Nylander were to be like an Ovechkin and say, you know what, if it wasn't for those guys, I would be nothing. Ovi's a floater too, absolutely no doubt about it. The coach kind of let him do that because he's the greatest goal scorer of all time. His having that kind of goal scoring, you don't want him doing. If you can get him the puck, you get him the puck. Cool, but at least Ovi would be like all the guys that worked their butt off for him. You said what was the center for a long time there? Backstrom. He celebrated him like you wouldn't want to believe. That guy's the one that got me the puck. I actually heard him in interviews say it.
Me too.
Passed me the puck, got me the puck, went and got the puck in the defensive zone, one of the best shutdown centers. That if you have a guy like Nylander and you don't have a tight room that knows what he's all about and can come together, you're never going anywhere. You're never winning a cup.
I will say this though: if for Nylander to move, it's going to have to be his decision, because he's
I know.
to move, and that's why. I mean, listen, you're making some good points, Pearlo. That's why I'm sitting and listening and not trying to
Yeah,
go, but excuse me. No,
yeah.
like I said, I mean, I do agree with that. Part of
It's
it,
gonna have
was
to be his.
losing Marner was that's a big reason why this team is not there.
Of course.
They ran him out of town on a rail. And that's why I was so happy for how well he played in the Olympics for Canada.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Roberto
yeah.
Luongo said, "Hey, look, this guy plays great when he's got a maple leaf on his chest." And I was like, "Oh, what a burn!"
I don't want
Oh,
to jump on you, but I know what you're. I'll let you go back for a second. Did you ever hear Nylander one time defend Marner?
Oh God, no. Yeah,
Exactly. So I'll
no.
send it back to you again.
Yeah, but you know, it's like I said. They went downhill when they got rid of Marner. I always thought that he was kind of unfair. I mean, yeah, he did make his mistakes too. He did, blind passes. He had a penchant for that ended up on the wrong sticks.
yeah.
But nevertheless, he never should have been treated the way that he was treated. That's a hometown boy. But it's going to be up to Nylander, as I said. If and you're just going to have to accept the fact that he's there. He's going to be there for a long time until he gets tired of it himself. The
Well,
one
let me
that you
ask you
got
this
to.
question. Let me ask you this question. How long has he been there already?
Oh my God, he's been there since 2015.
2015. How many
Yep.
times have they been to the playoffs since he's been there?
Oh, 9 straight years. They went 9 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
They make
nine
This
the
is
straight
gonna be
playoffs,
years.
but they can't.
this is
They
going to be
don't
the
win.
first. This is going to be the first year since his rookie year because his rookie year was 2015-16. This is going to
Okay.
be the first year since his rookie year that he hasn't been in the playoffs.
Okay. Okay.
Imagine if you're on a team and everybody says Nylander brings it, Nylander brings it, Nylander brings it, and you got Marner, O'Reilly, and everybody working their bag off, all three zones, playing grinded out hockey, and this guy sits out by the red line waiting for the puck. It drives you freaking crazy, dude. It
We can
drives
tell.
you crazy.
We can tell.
I'm sorry. It's I could the only way you can do it now is you got to build people and say as soon as they come in, say, look, Nylander's going to float. We need him. We can't get rid of him. He's an amazing offensive player, so we got to work with him. Just be honest with the guys when they come in. Just be honest. You're going to work hard, and okay, maybe it's not all Nylander's fault. Maybe, like you said, they ran Marner out of town. Why? They should have been celebrating the crap out of him. I remember when I was having this
Toronto.
argument with one Toronto fan that said, because Nylander did his little spin around and tried to get out of the zone and it went on the stick. And I said, you know who would never do that? Nylander. You know why? Because he would have never been in that zone. So Nylander does spin arounds all day. He's at the neutral zone waiting for it to be passed to him.
I think
So
I think we've pretty much covered that there,
I
Pearl. I
have
think we're
my
very
gut
good on it.
says that they're gonna if it's not Berube, something's gonna happen here.
Oh, I agree.
Maybe
Something will
maybe
happen.
public pressure will get rid of Brewery and they'll bring something in, but I mean something's got to happen.
I'm kind of with you on this one though, Perlo. My gut is telling me that Ruby stays and somebody else goes on the team like
So
that, or more than just one player go. It's
yeah,
easy to fire a coach. It's
Toronto's a
much harder
mess.
to
Well,
fire 23 guys.
Toronto's back to being a hot mess again. So,
You know, right?
yeah, it's just the problem is management just has bungled that team for years. They had gold in their hands if they had just built it properly instead of trying to go too far. It's a very interesting point. I'm going to talk about Steve Dangle for a minute because he made a point the other day that I have been saying to my friends here who are Leafs fans that the worst thing that could have happened to Toronto was making the playoffs when they did in 2017. They barely made the playoffs that year, but they made it, squeaked in, threw a scare into the Washington Capitals before they got eliminated in the first round.
Right.
And that kind of changed management's mindset because initially they were all prepared for it was going to be a long, painful rebuild. You had Brendan Shanahan telling them that. You had Lou
Yeah.
Lamoriello while he was their GM telling them that. You had, Babcock was their head coach at the time.
I
All of them
believe
were
you.
preaching from the same songbook. It's going to be a long, painful rebuild. And Leafs fans were like, yes, we're all in. Let's do this. But after that playoff, all of a sudden it became, how quickly can we accelerate this? And Steve Dangle said that in hindsight. He said that was probably the worst thing that could have been. He said because they were a fun team back then. You could see what they were going to be, and they were fun. And then management decided, oh, look, we're only one or two players away here, or two or three players away, and yeah, they lost the plot.
See what happens when you get greedy in the NHL, right? You gotta no, but you gotta let things take its natural course.
Sometimes you just gotta let things cook.
Okay, see, you can't always just expect that everything that you put out there is going to be the answer. You can't expect that. It has to be a moving target, and that's the beauty of this sport, because you can get teams like the Colorados, like the Tampa Bays, like the Floridas, that perpetually are there, all the time, right? You can have those kinds of teams, and you might have a down year, like, say, Florida's having this year, due to a lot of injuries. But if you look at their roster is still stacked, right? You get all their injured guys back, they're a contending team, right? Okay, so I mean,
but but look, they had to take a long road to get there too.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. You can't deviate. Colorado, 10 years ago, Colorado was the worst team in the league.
Yep.
They were dead last. Team. They had Nathan MacKinnon at the time, but Nathan MacKinnon was not Nate Dogg as he is now.
No. And they had Landeskog too, right? They had Landeskog
Yep, they had Landeskog and they had MacKinnon, and not a heck of a lot much else.
Nope.
But they had to build, and they did. Tampa Bay is the reason why Tampa Bay has not had this big drop off that everybody was expecting. Why they're sitting in first place in the Eastern Conference this year is because of the way they draft and develop. Look at their farm system. It's one of the best in the league. They keep bringing in new players all the time. New, exciting young players.
Yeah. And they have a system that is played in any part of their organization. Everybody knows what it is. Everybody knows their role. Everybody learns how to do different roles when necessary. And you can put this on John Cooper. Yep. John Cooper is one of the most brilliant minds. I hope he gets his Adams this year. He's one of the most brilliant minds. I'll give you a couple names though that are going to be going. Coleman, I think ends up in Dallas eventually here, because he's from there. Or back to Tampa. Uyghur is still out there. That's a bigger name. I could see. Calgary's going to be moving some people here eventually. I think they're just waiting out.
He's got a full no move though. That's the only problem for Uyghur. Like Coleman, I'm with you with absolutely. Yeah, I think he goes. Uyghur, that might have to be an off-season thing. But,
okay.
Ottawa.
He might not want to go in the middle of, because he's a big family guy. Yeah, and he loves Calgary. He loves Calgary.
Oh, he does. But he's also an Ottawa. He's also an Ottawa native, and the Senators would love to get him.
Yeah.
I want Spence and a couple picks back for. I like that Spence.
Yeah. Oh, Weir's a good guy.
Yeah. LA gives them up for a second so they can have Edmondson. Wonder why Edmondson's LA's missing the playoffs. Watch LA do something stupid.
They're not done making moves. They're not done. I agree with you.
Moves yet.
Well, with Fiala breaking his leg there in the Olympics, I mean, they got the cap room so they can go. But the problem is they already gave up. Well, they didn't have to give up a lot actually to get Panarin, because Panarin only wanted to go to one place, so that worked to their advantage. But they're going to have to give away more if they want to try and bring in another scorer.
I heard Kyrou. I heard they're looking at Kyrou.
Yeah.
That's what I heard too.
We didn't talk about Kyrou yet.
I'm going to tell you a team that I consider to be my dark horse for this trade deadline: Anaheim Ducks.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on Pat Verbeek and the Anaheim Ducks.
Wouldn't surprise me at all.
They have a ton of cap space.
Yes, they do.
Loaded with draft picks and prospects and young players on their team that they could move, and they could make a splash.
Yeah.
Pat Verbeek kind of. He's one of those ones that lays in the weeds, but look like what he did when he brought in Kreider, and before that when he brought in Trouba, how those two have really, really helped, the Ducks this year.
And the fact that he brought in Cutter Gauthier too, I thought
that was a steal. I'm sorry, Flyers fans, but that was you guys got hosed on that.
That was a coup.
That being said, Drysdale's played really well, and Gauthier. Coach
yeah.
did put him in a bad spot.
Yeah.
I agree.
So
I
really,
agree. I
it's
agree.
really tough.
Yeah.
But
And
they have
it's
a
probably
kid
going to
named
hurt Philly. It's probably going to hurt Philly for a longer run
Mm.
because they are still missing that 1C. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, we got Drysdale back for that trade, but you took away what they really needed was down the middle.
which brings you to a point that I think that there's something that could happen there with Philly again, believe it or not.
Oh,
Mintyukov doesn't like the fact that he's stuck back there. He
yeah.
can't move up.
Yeah.
And Philly needs help on defense. And we just talked about Ristolainen. Ristolainen wouldn't be, he's making the money anyways. He won't mind playing a little lower in the lineup. He doesn't care. He's already making the dimes. So, he might be okay to go there. And they could use that size back there. Oh, and they got a playoff run coming. You know how much Quinville likes the size on the D.
Oh,
So
yes.
I could see something like Ristolainen or something like that. A guy that I really think that I would like there out of Philly. A guy that's one of the most underrated two-way young players is Tippett. He's excellent. He can put up points, and they've got a couple guys that don't want to play that way there. They got a Terry. They got guys like that are not really big on playing. Well, actually, Terry's pretty good, but they're not. They don't play the same way that Tippett does. I think he would fit in there. I don't know if you would get both of them or how the deal would look. But
Yeah.
I think
I don't think you're going to get Tippett to go more than 20 goals a season. He's not even going to get to 30.
I'm talking about his whole full game.
Yeah, but as a more
he's a
complete player,
very complete player, and he can put in. He's one of those. Those kind of guys that can bring you in the tight games. He can help you prevent and score.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I would.
And he's got
first,
speed. He's got speed. He's not afraid to hit. Yeah.
He's good. I like him. I like him a lot. But
wow.
Anyways, Mintyukov, he could be your future number one. That kid's still got a big ceiling, and he's getting stuck in behind Anaheim. He wants a shot. When you think of Mintyukov, you think of another guy that I talked about before the season started that I think he could take off if you gave it to him, was Shinnikov. I said if people should be all over this kid. I was talking about it before the season started. Where did he go? He goes to Pittsburgh. Look at him now. Mintyukov is another guy that is similar to that.
Absolutely.
And Anaheim's deep with prospects and everything too. So I mean,
So I hate to cut it short, guys.
No. I was just gonna.
Short. We went.
No. You're not cutting it short. I was just gonna get us signed off here.
I could do this for another, but unfortunately, I've got to get back into the grind here before I grab a few hours sleep and then get back at it again tomorrow.
Me too.
Awesome.
That's the thing about this time of year. It gets it's so busy. But by the time I get to Friday, I'm on adrenaline by that point. But
I hear you.
It's fun though. It's fun.
But thank you guys both for being here. This was a very great show, man. I think we covered a good portion of what potentially the trade deadline is going to be. Lyle, why don't you tell the folks where we can find all your great stuff, my man?
Okay, well, of course, my website, spectorshockey.net. That's where I cover all the provide daily updates on everything that's going on, including the latest trade and free agent rumors. You can also find me at the Hockey News and at Bleach Report. If you speak German, I do a weekly column for Ice Hockey News in Germany. And I also do a bi-weekly column for my hometown paper here in Charlottetown, PEI. So there you go. It's called The Guardian. The Guardian PEI, not The Guardian, the main one in England. No, The Guardian. Small one here.
There you go. Awesome. And we really appreciate you being here, Lyle. Be sure to go over there to spectorshockey.net. Follow Spectors Hockey on Twitter. Make sure you get the latest from the greatest, man, because this guy's got it going on. Thank you, Pearlo. Why don't you tell the folks where we can get you and all your great stuff you're doing there, brother?
Oh, well, tomorrow I'm on the Ice Guys. The Ice Guys, the most in-depth betting podcast you'll find, and voted best NHL betting podcast in North America 2 years running now. Go check that out. Check it out every day, not just because I'm going to be on it tomorro, but I will be on there
especially because you're going to be on it tomorrow.
But especially.
I do a show in the evenings, another betting show. So I have this argument with them that you're not the most in-depth anymore. Sorry, because that show can run 3-4 hours long. And what it is it's Rico and Pearlo's House of Exotic NHL Picks Frolic. And we go into each game and show how handicappers, sports handicappers in general, but in this case NHL, how we come to our picks and the work it takes and the stuff that we do, and we talk about hockey a lot, and we watch the games together, and we laugh an awful lot. So if you enjoy
it's good
much
stuff.
frolic and glee, this is a good place for you. I don't even
I
think you
love
have
that.
to be a hockey
Frolic
fan.
and glee.
Frolic and glee. We bring frolic and glee to the land.
Man, I'll tell you.
Absolutely. So if you enjoy that, you may enjoy this type of thing.
You
If
might.
you don't,
You might.
maybe not so much. So I also started my own thing now. You can find me on Winnable. I started my own site on Winnable. You can go there and you get picks for free and stuff like that. And you can find it at Pearlo's NHL POW on my community page. Hit when you go to the profile, you'll see it highlighted up there. Just hit it, take a look at that. And of course, I'll be back again here on Puck In Deep. Go check out our previous ones.
Yeah, man.
There's still a lot of great stuff in there.
For sure.
It's fantastic. I love doing this. Love doing this with Lyle. It was great talking to you again.
Every time we have Lyle on, we get record views.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Well, you're awesome.
Yeah.
Love Lyle. And Ron, so I'll send it back to you now. You tell him about all the other great stuff
right.
you have too, man.
Yeah, man. We got a lot of stuff lined up here for Prospect Watch. We're talking to some players. We're talking to some coaches. And we're also talking to a guy that trains players too. So be looking for some of those interviews coming up here. I got a really busy week, just like everybody else is talking about too. You know, it's really busy. A lot of great stuff going on in the USHL. Be sure to check that out. A lot of great stuff going on right now too, especially we're getting close to the Clark Cup. We're also getting close to some of the other cups that are going to be going on out there, the WHL, the OHL, stuff like that. Be sure to check out all your local hockey arenas and check out all your local hockey teams and players. Be sure to check them out. Be sure to check us out on the YouTube channel, Puck In Deep. You can also follow me on X at RNJ_media. Thank you all very much for tuning in and checking us out. We will catch you all on the next episode of Puck In Deep.